Welcome to the third installment of the #StudyHack series, where we use lessons from the science of psychology to help you become a better student. In the first part, we discuss multitasking, how it harms your learning and impedes your productivity, and that the things we multitask with, such as social media apps on our phones, are very hard to ignore because they are rewarding to our minds and therefore addictive over time. During the second part, we discussed ego depletion, the idea that your willpower is a limited resource and that self-control takes energy. So if you repeatedly have to rely on your willpower to avoid a distraction on your laptop or attempting junk food, you might eventually fail. We discussed a better strategy called pre-commitment, where you structure your environment, both physical and digital, beforehand when you have the energy to do so, such that in the moment you don't have access to those temptations. An example of a pre-commitment strategy is using a web blocker, which allows you to exercise willpower once to block the internet or certain websites, leaving you with a distraction-free digital environment for the next little while. In today's session, we're going to discuss decision fatigue and a powerful study hack that can help you excel in all your courses. Have you noticed how after spending some time shopping at the mall or at the end of a grocery shopping trip, you may feel really tired? Research in psychology has shown that making decisions, such as choosing between different products and their many different brands at the grocery store, can lead to a state named decision fatigue, which aside from making you feel tired, similar to ego depletion, it can make you worse at self-control. During a shopping trip, you have to make many trade-off decisions regarding prices and promotions, products and brands, which may lead to decision fatigue. By the time you're at the cashier, you have less willpower to resist the impulse to purchase candy and sugary items. Decision fatigue can also lead to inaction or avoidance of making decisions. In a study, psychologists partnered up with a car dealership, and they found that after car buyers had gone through numerous decisions around color, interior design, and other minor things, when having to make those important decisions later, maybe about the car engine, they were more likely just to go along with what the default option was or what the car dealer suggested, making the price much higher than what it could have been. What can we do to avoid the negative consequences of decision fatigue? If you have a series of decisions to make, like for example the series of decisions involving buying a car, make the important decisions first. Also, don't be afraid to take a break in a decision-making process. Similarly, make vital decisions early in the day. That way, you'll be dealing with them with the maximum amount of rest. Making lists beforehand can also help relieve decision fatigue in the moment, for example, when you go shopping. And you can also pick out what you wear for the next day the night before. As students, a decision you will be making very frequently is where and when to study. Students can often spend 10 to 20 minutes deliberating where to study, which library or coffee shop, and what to take with them, what subject to start with, and all of this decision making can lead to fatigue and subsequent weakening of self-control. What can you do to avoid decision fatigue and make better use of your time as a student? The solution is to pre-plan your studying by setting aside blocks of time in your timetable for studying and treating them just as you would treat a lecture or a doctor appointment. You know where to go and when you have to be there. You also need to plan these blocks of time with precision, being very specific about the location you're going to study down to the table and the subject matter you're going to be studying. Here is an example of how you would pre-plan your studying. Imagine this is your timetable. First, put in your lectures, work hours, and any other prior commitments that you have, such as volunteering in a lab. These are your anchors. You're going to pre-plan your studying time around these prior commitments since you already know where you're going to be. When you have your studying schedule pre-planned, you no longer have to spend energy deciding every day what you're going to do with your time on campus. You simply follow your schedule. And remember, when you sit down to study, postpone unnecessary or unurgent activities such as checking email until you're done your work. So here is your homework. Below, you will find links to a number of templates for pre-planning your studying schedule. Fill out one of those forms at the start of each semester and you will have laid the foundation for a successful year.